Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to continue our discussion about scalar dot product and how it is important to the work of a single neuron. Now you know how to perform scalar dot product. You know that you multiply two vectors doing this weighted sum calculation, which is represented by this formula, which you shouldn't worry about. In fact, I never wanted to write this formula, but just in case you see it elsewhere, then you know that it simply means you have to perform a weighted sum. In this video, I want us to look at the meaning. How do you interpret the weighted sum that is performed by a single neuron? To start with, I need to mention that I was careful and I did a calculated guess when I was writing the values for these weight vector. W1 is 0.5, W2 is 0.7, W3 is 0.2. And the reason I did that was, in our training example, if you cast your mind back, in our training example, the first feature was attendance. Attendance, and then the second was hours studied, and then hours slept. Okay, now the neural network is supposed to learn weight that it will use to decide the output by the given input that is fed into it. In my choice of numbers, I chose 0.5 for W1, that is attendance, because yes, the one thing that helps you pass examination in class is your class attendance. So the importance of attending class to you passing the examination is quite big, but it's not that big, because in the training data you saw that there was a girl who went to class only 20% of the time and spent most of her time learning on her own, and she still passed as much as someone who went for all the classes and learned lesser hours than the girl who didn't go for the classes. So I made a guess and I said, okay, let's assign 0.5. So it's not big, it's not small. It's like, yeah, it is important, but not that important. Then the second value I chose was 0.7 for hours studied, because I think that is very important. This is just intuition that I'm giving you so you understand how neural networks work, how you can interpret the weight of the neural network. So the number of hours you study is actually more important than the number of classes you attend, because in the data set, and this is all in relation to the data set, it's not a guess I'm making, I'm saying this relative to the data set that we saw. So in the data set, you saw that there was a girl who went to class only 20% of the time, but made up for it by studying for 14 hours in a day. And for that reason, she still passed the examination. So you can see that the number of hours you spend studying is probably more important than the number of classes you attended. And then the next one is hours slept. So hours slept, yes, is good. Medically, there's a number of hours you need to sleep so that you are fit and you'll be able to learn and you'll be healthy, but it might not be that important. So I assigned 0.2 to it. The lesson I want you to learn from this is, I did a calculated guess. I used my intuition, I used my mind to come up with these figures. But the amazing thing about neural networks is that a neural network is going to start up with random weights. It will start by choosing any number, negative weights, 0.5, 0.1, 0.001, negative 0.2, anything. It will start with a random number. And as you feed in the data over and over and over and over, it will adjust the weight. That is the whole idea of learning. When we speak of learning in a neural network, what we are saying is making the necessary adjustments to the weight such that the error the neural network has when it comes to running the data through it keeps reducing and reducing up to the point where the error is acceptable. Then we say, indeed, we have trained a neural network that is doing a great job. So the intuition here is, you feed in your number, you feed in your input, and the neural network is going to weight each of the features according to what it has learned, the pattern it has learned. And out of that, it will come up with a figure telling you, oh, based on my weight and the input that came, this is the label or the output I predict for the input that you are feeding into. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.